Hello, welcome back to another episode of Green Monk Symbolic Analysis. I think we're just going to go straight into this one. There's not much speaking in this part, so I'll just go straight into more analysing it step by step. So, previously, he was battered and bruised by this guard, and he allowed this pagan foreigner to be free because of that strange trick that he pulled. Now he's writing. And he's sort of, maybe this is some sort of vision he has, but this is where we've left off at. So hopefully you will have realised that by now this is the same story being played out over and over and over again, only each time, whether in his like a vision or a dream he has or in the actual real world, he gets one step further each time. So right now what he can do, he can now go out, he can stay focused, he can slay the dragon, and he can uphold his tradition, but there may be some mysterious thing that he can't see yet, and we'll be exploring that this episode. So let's get into it. So he falls from heaven, so to speak. He falls from the sky, and he sees these small dragons coming, and as he falls, they sort of wrap him up, and they somehow break his fall almost. And we've been through this before, similar sort of imagery, but it's different here. And I wasn't too sure about this, and it got me thinking. This is sort of the same dragon that he's slayed before, only it's smaller, and there's more of them. And it's kind of they kind of help him, they kind of break his fall. And I was just thinking about this, and it's almost he's putting on these coverings of death to allow him to get to the borders, the fringes. Because where is he now? He's at this strange broken down place where civilization has failed, and these barbarians, these pagan savages, and they surround him and they stab him in the hand. And that if you think about that thing about the Christ story, that's what Jesus did. That's how he was able to pull everyone out of the depths of Hades, so to speak. He put on these. He put on flesh to save flesh. I think that's part of what it means. But it's also, if I go to here, that's not it. It's not just one big dragon. Okay. Jordan Peterson uses this story, so look it up. Jordan Peterson talking about this story. If a dragon gets too big, it can run away with your house. And the idea is maybe keep your dragon small and manageable, and that sort of keeps life interesting. And you can actually, you can use them. Alex uses them to break his fall. It's how you taming the beast. That's what a dog is. That's how you tame a sheepdog. This wild animal that would have devoured you is now helping you tend your sheep. I think that's what that imagery is touching on. But we'll continue. So he's on the borders. Think about the imagery again. It's the same story every time. Down from heaven, down from the source. Okay, he's got that identity from heaven. He's now on the fringes of society. And these barbarians, they surround him, they grab him, they grab his hand, pierce his hand with a dagger, and he's bleeding everywhere. What's happened? But it's a strange thing happens. It's a strange trick. From that blood comes this life, a small plant. That plant grows. It grows faster and faster, and it's uncontrolled. And this gets the attention of these four giants. Previously, I alluded to this red one here was the one that we seen last time. Previously, I alluded to You know, he lacked sight. You know, he had a blunt weapon, very earthly, very a lot of body. Okay, lacking vision. These other giants only heighten that. Got Cyclops, one eye, single-mindedness, narrow-mindedness, lacking vision. This guy has no eyes, for goodness sake. This guy doesn't even have a head. If you see, you'll get a bigger picture there over here. He doesn't even have a head. He's got a tar for a head. You know. Can I state my case any further? This guy's got a club. This other guy's got a club. This guy's got a sword that's made of stone. It's clearly not sharp. It's got chips out of it. Have I made my case? I think I've made my case on that. Now, what? There's four of them. What could that possibly mean? So keep in line with a giant, a lot of body, a lot of earth, not a lot of heaven going on. All right. And you can represent the earth as a square or a cube. Okay, it's not the only way you can represent it, but stable earth can be represented as a square or a cube, and that's why you have this idea of a dome on this flat ground, flat earth, right? That's what that sort of means. It's this stable thing, and I think this possibly represents that these are the four corners of the world. These are the traditions of everyone. This represents the world, Earth, and Alexei's gonna disrupt the entire Earth. That's why I think that's supposed to be. And why are they monsters? It's because it's not aligned. He's come to align everything, bring everything in, make it beautiful, and that's, you know, Alex is clearly playing the Christ story throughout all of this. So that's to be expected. So down here, this plant that's growing out of his hand, it's getting out of control. Completely out of control. It starts wrapping himself into it. And he's trying to fight it. He can't really fight it. He's almost a full-blown tree when it gets down to here. And these four giants, they look in just utter shock and horror. What is going on here? This is crazy. This is not okay. What's going on here? I don't like it. And he hears a voice. Don't fight it. It's this feminine character. These giants don't know what's going on. Don't fight it. It's your salvation. And Alexei, he closes his eyes and he embraces it. Right, and he by not fighting it, he's able to control it. And I would just cut in here. Don't fight it. It's your salvation. And it's this overflowing life that's spurting out from him. Don't fight it. It's your salvation. And that phrase, don't fight it, it's your salvation, in the context where it's this life that's, you know, it's consuming him. That perfectly shows this comparison you can make with hell and paradise, because C.S. Lewis talks about what is hell. Hell is locked. He says hell is locked from the inside. It's like you're there because this is this rejection of that which encompasses being. I don't want a relation with my source, and that's sort of what hell is. It's this fighting of the fire. If you fight the fire, you're gonna get burned. If you don't fight the fire, it'll refine you. And it's the difference between, if he kept on fighting, he'd been taken over by this, and it would have been, you know, painful, and, you know, and it would be sort of his doing. It'd be his choice. But if he lets go of it, lets go of these coverings, you know, puts away this death voluntarily, you know, he'll be given life, and that's part of the equation. It's not just arbitrary. And that's brings us to the cover. You know, he's on fire. Why is he on fire? It's the maybe hopefully I still have the slide up if I can find it somewhere. You know, the Virgin Mary is represented as the burning bush because she bore Christ. She bore the light, and the what does St. Gregory say? The flower of her virginity was not withered, in that she was not consumed. Similarly, Alex is a burning bush at the end of the day. That's what all these people aim to be. That's what we should aim to be. We should not fight it, because it is our salvation. Or he's able to use it, and it turns into a sword. And again, just to hit home my case, the imagery I've been pointing out this entire book. You know, what's happened here? What's happened? He's got the sword now, and he's lost his coverings, so to speak. And if we continue on here, this giant tries to stump him, and he has complete freedom of movement between the hierarchies. Those three things: removal of animal coverings, holding fast to the sword that is sharp, and complete freedom of movement between the hierarchy. That's what Christ is supposed to represent. You know, I'll just flip back to jog your guys' memory to here. You know, he goes to sleep, wakes up, suddenly he's got a sword, he can fly, and he's got a lot less clothes on. And what happens here? He lets go of the sword, puts on these clothes, and he falls down. He doesn't have that freedom anymore. It's the same imagery repeated again. So, holding fast to this sword, he's able to bring forth the heads of giants. And that phrase reminded me of a poem I wrote maybe a year and a half ago that I thought would fit way too well. It's almost comedic. I'll need to probably refine it and then put it up on the Instagram page, but here it is. Oh, to drink from the cup of Christ, and to be made as nothing, to shed your blood, to plant a tree. Just seeds in the hands, to be seeds in the ground, but only one seed is needed for a tree, and one tree for a mountain. Tears on the earth, they are the only ones who know what would bring peace. An artist's tale to bring forth the heads of giants. And you would have thought I was trying to describe this story, and in a way I was. I just didn't realize it. maybe they're telling the same story. You know, this whole picture. It's just imagine dropping a seed into the ground. That could summarize this story. Seed from above, from heaven, down. What is a seed? It's the thing that is pure identity. It's not anything yet. It's not a plant. It has no real existence in, you know, the material world or embodied reality. It's pure information and identity. Drops that into the earth. Okay, it goes into that darkness. Okay, it puts into the ground, and there's a trick. It dies. Oh no, seed died. What, end of the story? Well, no, it's actually part of the story. Seed dies, and a plant is grown because of it. I think there's a parable about that as well. You know. So, however, Happy Daisy slays these giants. Again, we've already realised he's answered this tradition aspect only in sort of his normal life. and that's found, here. He had this dream where he failed to uphold the tradition. He couldn't defeat the giant. Woke up, and he's like, I'll embody my tradition. He's now a man. He's doing these chores. He's embodying what his identity is supposed to be. And that's realized now in this vision he's had. Now, what's happening here? He gets hit, he strips, he gets smacked by a bit of rubble. Sword gets knocked out of his hands, and he falls down to this darkness. And this is this feminine character again. And again, like clockwork, you've noticed, hopefully, he's got his shirt back on. He fell to the ground, let go of the sword, put on these coverings again. Hopefully, I've made my case clear for that. There's no argument. There's no argument for that. Before we go on to the next part of the story, let's just focus on these few scenes down here really quick. So he's pierced in the hand, blood, trick, life. It's all come together now. Hopefully you can see that basic pattern, but to further connect it to one of the past episodes, it's this imagery here. The snake's back. The cricket on the street is back. So this is a while ago. Another poem I made, and it was based on this sort of image I doodled. Here's the image here. I don't want to show the poem, but now what's that about? It's almost like this Saint George icon here, and it's easy to understand. Yeah, guy goes out, hero slides the dragon, happy days, he's the hero. But it's not just that's the basic pattern. But it's not always that way around. It could be this way around as well. It could be the tyrant king, pinning down the good guy, and the good guy is this person on the fringe. That's why Jesus Christ can be represented by a snake on a cross. That's why King Saul in the Book of Samuel, First Samuel, where one of the Samuels, Saul tried to pin David to the wall. David, someone who's, when people talk about the son of David, he's related to Jesus quite obviously, and he's this fringe character. He's a musician. He's not, especially in this story, when he wasn't king. He was this person on the fringe. He was running away. He was sort of with the enemy, but he wasn't really with the enemy. He's hiding in the corners. He's this fringe character. He was this snake. He was this secret king, as the title of this poem is. Saul didn't like that. He didn't like that twistiness. Tried to pin him, fix him. Okay? Threw a spear and tried to pin him to the wall. This is what this story is. It's the same story, only Alexei is embodying the Christ part of that story. Alright, and need I say any more? And it ties in with these images as well. So yeah, need I say any more? Probably not. Hopefully not. So back to the story. He's in this dark place, the place where even the eyes of God cannot pierce. Place of the feminine. And I've written another poem. In fact, another poem that may be useful in this situation, this place of the feminine, this dark place. So the death of a child. What drama, what heartache, what vanity to die of self-inflicted wounds, to walk the forest trail and not to see the flowers, to kiss a girl and not see her eyes, to let the silence be broken and not even notice its passing. Is there no hope for the weary? Is there no rest for the downtrodden? Open your eyes to things you once knew. Isn't this the spirit of a child I speak of? Yes, you are an adult now, one who has been corrupted by the shadows of the world, and indeed it was necessary too for your refinement. But let not this drama be in vain. Don't lose sight of the flowers in the forest. Notice the eyes of your lady and be lost in them. Pay attention to the silence and listen to what she tells you. For at the dawn of adulthood there involves the death of a child. But to find that child once more, to breathe life into their chest, is to notice the colour of those flowers as for the first time. Pay attention to the silence and listen to what she tells you. Well, we're in the domain of the feminine, the darkness. Alexei needs to listen to what she's gonna tell him. And what he says, Alexei, there is a gift hidden by forgotten magic in a place that the gaze of God cannot pierce, hidden from the giants and the gods and the darkness of the deep, hidden and patiently waiting for you. Set the room of black, seek the door on the far side, turn to the left or to the right, and the door will shut forever. Tau, the rim of white, seek the door on the far side, tarry, and the door will shut forever. Non, the third rim has a name, but it cannot be spoken. Failure of its test means oblivion. And then the character leaves. Wait! No! No. This monk enters. Please save us. It's an interesting image. He's lost his right eye. I'm not sure if the symbolism can get any more punch your face obvious there. The same story, characterized with this one image. I was showing this book to a friend and just quickly blitzed through it. I said, you can know what the entire story is by just with this one frame. Now why is that? This old man, he's lacking vision. Save us. Alexei's story is to regain the sight of this tradition. That's as far as we're going in story wise. I'm going to focus more on this one slide here. This is a very, very profound slide and I want to get it right. So this image here, it's got three columns: sit, tau, non, accompanied by three hand gestures. This, that, and that. Three names: the rim of black, the rim of white, and the third rim has a name but cannot be spoken. What does this mean? This is a condensation of Alex's journey, and it's incredible. It's incredible. What's his name? Brandon Dayton. He did a very good job. Very good job of this, and it is super fun. So imagine this is sort of tells what he has been doing and what he will do as well. The rim of black. Seek the door on the far side, turn to the left or to the right, and the door will shut forever. It's like, and Set. So Set it's an Egyptian, name of Egyptian / Greek god. Essentially our understanding of Satan is what Set is. I think we may derive the word Satan from Set. It's god of like bad things, deserts, disorder, violence, all that sort of stuff. Seek the door on the far side. do not get distracted. See, earlier, first time he went out, he got distracted. He got in a situation that left a bitter taste in his mouth. He got distracted. Okay, hand gesture. What's that? It's like you can't see what's in my hands, right? I'm like covering. But it's not like you can't see it. It's like you're not facing the right way to see it. I can see it. If you're behind me, you could see it, but you can't see it. You don't have it in the right place. Be precise. So it could be realigned. It's just you can't really see it. Tau. So imagine, it's set. This comes the outer darkness. Tau, the light. The room of white. Seek the door on the far side. Tarry, and the door will shut forever. And this is to do with these first two. They're sort of easy to grasp. They're common. The third's mysterious. Now Tau, it's a Greek letter. I didn't realize this. I did look it up. So it's a Greek letter, and apparently it's used for the symbol of life / the resurrection. That's just absolutely crazy. The way he's done that. Now, what's this hand gesture? Previously, you couldn't see. It's hidden. Now it's like you can see clearly. Everything's made aware. And it's possible that the actual triangle thing she makes, that could possibly, it's like they're instating of a new mountain. But it's like you can see clearly the light. What is the light? It's the thing that allows you to see clearly, allows you to define things, see how it really is. It's like you don't know what's going on. Let me show you. And what's the third one? Non. Non sort of means nothingness, null, void. Okay, it doesn't really make sense. Nothingness. The third room has a name, but it cannot be spoken. Failure of its test. It means oblivion. So it goes outer darkness, light, to the inner darkness, or like the divine darkness. And it's good, and it's from, you can't see it. That's the hand gesture. Because you can't see it because you're not you don't have it facing the right way. It's not clear. You can see it's made clear. And here it's not just you can't see it because it's not clear. It's part of, no one can see it. It's completely encapsulated. It's pure mystery. Not even, what does this lady say here? There's a gift hidden by a forgotten magic in a place that the gaze of God cannot pierce. Mystery as part of the story. And I shall, yeah. And he just told, figure it out. It's sort of a mystery. I'm going to read this book, Gregory of Nyssa. The darkness. What does he have to say about the darkness? What does it mean that Moses entered the darkness and then saw God in it? What is now recounted seems somehow to be contradictory to the first theophany. For then the divine was beheld in light, but now he is seen in darkness. Let us not think that this is at variance with the sequence of things we have contemplated spiritually. Scripture teaches by this that religious knowledge comes at first to those who receive it as light. Therefore, what is perceived to be contrary to religion is darkness, and the escape from the darkness comes about when one participates in the light. But as the mind progresses, and through an even greater and more perfect diligence comes to apprehend reality, as it approaches more nearly to contemplation, it sees more clearly what of the divine nature is uncontemplated. For leaving behind everything that is observed, not only what sense comprehends, but also what the intelligence thinks it sees, it keeps on penetrating deeper until, by the intelligence's yearning, For understanding, it gains access to the invisible and incomprehensible, and there it sees God. This is the true knowledge of what is sought. This is the seeing that consists of not seeing, because that which is sought transcends all knowledge, being separated on all sides by incomprehensibility, as by a kind of darkness. Wherefore John the Sublime, who penetrated into the luminous darkness, says, "No one has ever seen God." John 1, verse 18. Thus, asserting that knowledge of the divine essence is unattainable, not only by men, but also by every intelligent creature. When therefore Moses grew in knowledge, he declared that he had seen God in the darkness. That is, that he had then come to know that what is divine is beyond all knowledge and comprehension. For the text says, Moses approached the dark cloud where God was. Exodus 20, verse 21. What God? He who made darkness his abiding place. Psalm 18, verse 11, as David says. He also was initiated into the mysteries in the same inner sanctuary. So this outer darkness, and then you see the light, and then you see the mystery that's part of the story. And let's go to here. Let's look at some icons. So look at the bottom of the screen. It's just like outer darkness. See this dry land. Oh goodness. So it means like death. Down here, death. Watery, saltwater chaos. That's where the big Leviathan beast lives. And then it's sort of the light. The light is Christ. That's what the sun is. This source of light. But hold on a minute. What's one step further in? It's the darkness. It's the divine darkness. It's what St. Gregory of Nyssa was telling us about. Let me find what I'm doing. Here. Oh goodness. Here. What's in the corner? It's this light. But what's further? It's this darkness. Interesting. Where does Moses get where does he see God? The darkness. Here, again, these are all icons we've brought up before. This light. And further in, it's the darkness. You know, this is no obscure imagery. This is in pretty much every other icon you'd see. You will see this imagery. See well. So let's go back to here more specifically. Let's bring it all back together. Everything we've been talking about. Let's do it with this one image. You know, you can go up and down the mountain in different ways. You can try and go up the mountain in a form of pride, as in a Tower of Babel kind of going up the mountain. And you can go down the mountain as a form of fall, of being distracted. You're being tempted by these demons. They cause you to stumble. That's sort of that's this first. Am I showing that right? No. That's this first column. Set. No, let's go to the second one. Then you realise, hold on, there's a way you can do this that can be for the good, and it's like a light that shines and everything. You can traverse up the mountain as you're like sort of trying to not in a contradiction to God, but in sort of service of God. What's this one here? This angel's going up to Christ to offer him a cup. You can go up to be realigned with the origin, and you can go down. Similarly, like these rivers function, you can go down the mountain in order to sort of spread the word, spread the good news, spread the life. Okay, reach the edges of society. That is that showing? No. That is Tao. That's the light. And what's none? It's the realizing that God is incomprehensible. It's realized that the mind cannot really attain or perceive God, and it's sort of delving into that. And it's also realizing that not only is like here the source, but everything can be seen through this divine mystery. Everything. It's the realizing that Christ is not just here at the top of this hierarchy. It's the realizing that it's the bringing of everything together, because this imagery of this angel piercing this dragon, it's the same imagery as that's at the top. Back to here. It's the same imagery at the top and the bottom, and I think that's part of this mystery that we're trying to perceive. But yeah, have I anything more to say? I'm not sure. So yeah. Here, the meta story of Alex's story starts off, goes out, gets distracted, goes back, goes out. He doesn't get distracted, but he can't incorporate that into his tradition, and tries again. Doesn't get distracted, incorporates his tradition, and now he's in this mysterious place where it's not quite clear what to do. The third room has a name, but it cannot be spoken. Failure of its test means oblivion. It's partaking in this mystery, in this place that's not in the realm of sight. But anyway, I think that's enough for this episode. So I'll see you next time.